Hello Capricorn, welcome to your reading for the month of July and welcome to my channel. So Capricorn, before I begin, I just want to clarify that the style that I do readings in tarot, I use a combination of numerology, astrology, and tarot. And pretty much the way I was taught to use these elements is so that I can bind them in a way that makes sense. I have never, studied astrology or numerology, so this is something that it evolved out of the practices that I've done to work with my energies and to develop my awareness. And it's been kind of a work in progress that continues to evolve, and it continues to develop into more information that is very unique. Once in a while, I have to kind of go and try to figure out certain terms, astrological terms, so that I can learn to apply them in the readings and especially in the information that I'm receiving in these readings. But other than that, I've been suggested to stay away from more of that traditional method. Not because it's wrong, but it's just because my style is about being more open and receptive to information in the moment, where I can tie those elements in a way that, sort of flows and makes sense. So it's just two different styles. So that being said, in my readings, I focus more on going deeper and, understanding the nature of energies that are affecting you at this moment and during this cycle, and seeing how your energies are operating within this, celestial forces. And it's to prepare you more with the information that is going to empower you, instead of you waiting around for things to change and, in the same process, giving your power away. So a lot of times, when we are stuck and we're waiting for things to change, or we're waiting for somebody else to change their mind and come back to us, we don't understand in that moment that we're giving our power away. So, we're kind of hoping for something to change, and we kind of think that by hearing how that person is doing and how they're feeling is going to make us feel better. But in the same token, we don't understand that we're giving our power away. So my purpose here is to empower you with that information that you can utilize and incorporate in your life based on your own personal needs. All right, Capricorn, let's begin. So Capricorn, the celestial bodies that are working with your energy in this process, one is the moon and is working with your ideas, and the other one is Venus and is working with your emotions. So this is very powerful feminine energy, extremely powerful. And to me, Capricorn, Venus represents the mother and the moon represents the daughter. So it's very interesting because right now we're going to have a new moon in July 15th. And this is a very special moon when it comes to the energy of the mother. All moons are special, and all moons represents cycles where our emotions are going through changes, because that's what the moon represents, is the changes that take place within our emotions. So if you start paying attention to how the moon works with different signs, you will have a better understanding of the changes that are taking place within your emotional reality. So that connection will allow you to understand why sometimes you feel more sensitive than other times, and specifically in which areas of your lives you're feeling sensitive. So on July 15th, we're going to have a new moon. So the energies of the moon are going to go through a rebirth, and it's going to be in her own house, Cancer. And with this particular moon, there is definitely a lot of, you know, strong connections and ties to the mother side, because it's a very auspicious day in other timelines or in other cultures in the past. So for thousands of years, Capricorn, this particular new moon that we're going to have in the middle of this month is very significant because it relates to the inheritance that we have received from our mother's side. And in a way, it also represents the divine feminine, the creative force of the divine feminine that represents the mother. It's also interesting that on this day, the North Node and the South Node in astrology are changing to new signs. And for those of you who may not know, the North Node represents the compass. Well, the nodes is a compass that tells us at a collective level in the area that we're going to change or evolve. The North Node represents our evolution, and the South represents the things that we need to reconcile. When we do an astrological consultation, we're going to also find the nodes in our charts. And those nodes are going to represent in the areas that we're going to advance in our whole incarnation, as well as the areas that we're going to come to reconcile. So in our own personal charts, it's going to be throughout the whole incarnation. In the collective, it's going to change every 2 years. And in this new moon, right now, the nodes are going to change. The North Node was in Taurus, and now it's going to change to Aries. The South Node, it was in Scorpio, and now it's going to change to Libra. Interesting. Because Venus is the ruler of Taurus and Libra. And you have Venus here in the heart. So when we start then working with Venus, we start realizing that, Venus is a very powerful creative force that we have limited in so many ways. In so many ways. It's interesting because in astrology, Taurus, the force of Venus is represented by the god of love. But it also represents wisdom, beauty, and money, our bank accounts. In Libra is the house of the other, how we work with other people and specifically in our relationships. But Venus is much, 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 much more than that. And this is where we have to start understanding. Venus represents the creative force in so many different ways. Because if you think about it, love is the highest frequency that we can work with in our reality. And we're not necessarily describing a lot of the ideas and definitions that we have of what this energy represents. We only think in terms of love when we are getting to know somebody and that person is igniting that fire within our hearts, or when we have a child, right? Or when we follow our passions. So these are conditions, temporary conditions that we create, that we give ourselves permission to feel this energy of love at other levels. But this is also an energy that we can cultivate, because if you think about it for a moment, Capricorn, our body, our vehicle, is made from love. And think about all the energy that our parents create and ignite at the moment of the orgasm. And that's the fire that the cells use in order to replicate that single cell that is you or your body. So there is a multiplication of the cells, and through the action or the energy of love, they come together to create your physical vehicle. So you're made from love. So when you don't feel love, what you're doing is creating a state of being in which you're thinking that you're not love, but you are always love, my friends. You're always made of love, and you will continue to be love until that vehicle ends, the work that it needs to do, until your spirit says, okay, I don't need you anymore. But you're made from love. So you have, in all of us, the capacity to cultivate the essence of love. How you do it? Figure it out. There are ways that we all can do it, but you have the free will to figure that out. If you're not cultivating love, and then you are cultivating something else, and here's where the oracles say, well, what are you cultivating? Where are you focusing your energy most of the time? And in that focus, how do you feel? Because your heart is the operating system that tells you right away if what you're doing feels good or not. So there is a lot of love in this particular reading. You're being very much supported by the cosmos with this energy of love. And as I'm saying here, it's not just feeling love, but it's also the wisdom that comes with these higher frequencies of love. And the moon, well, pay attention to the moon. I was guided to start working with the moon, and as I started to do that, little by little, that energy started to teach me things that I now understand and apply in my life because it's very useful. And especially the best part of this connection for me has been, Capricorn, in how to preserve my energy. A lot of times it's very easy to be distracted by drama. In my life, the first, how do I say this? Not the first, maybe that's not the correct word. In the past, one of the ways that I used to let go of a lot of energy and waste a lot of my own personal resources, my life force, was being stuck in emotional, romantic drama. It was nonstop. But I didn't know back then how I contributed to participate in that drama. I now understand how I did it. In this particular cycle, because I'm working with my lineage, I became very invested vibrationally in supporting family drama. I am now doing better because I can see how in the way I was reacting to those situations, as I was needing to integrate the painful aspect of my family, right? Because I'm working at integrating my lineage. But my lineage is a combination of positive things with negative, just like I am. And just like the future generations will be. So when I'm talking about integrating, I have to integrate both aspects, the good and the bad. And I was having a really hard time with the bad ones. Not because I hadn't worked with my shadow side before, but it's because I was working with other people's shadow side, my family's shadow side. And that was hard. And it was very easy to get distracted with their pain and their drama. And all you're trying to do is make them feel better, but it's not your responsibility, especially if you're not feeling good. And it's also very easy to be an empathic, where you're feeling their pain and you don't know the difference between your pain and theirs because it's genetically connected. Vibrationally, it's all connected. But of course, we don't get to do that level of integration until we're ready and prepare. And I was ready. But boy, it's a really hard process that we have to go through. But eventually you overcome it. And eventually you begin to see how it is that you're contributing to support that drama. And it's not that drama is bad. I'm not using it in a judgmental way. But it's wasting a lot of your energy in situations that no matter how much you try to help, to soothe their discomfort and their pain, is going to do it. It's out of your control. And this is a big lesson to learn. Big lesson to accept. You cannot control other people's reality, including your children and your family members. It is not your responsibility to make them happy. You can be a support system for them when they're not feeling good, but you have no control over their joy and their happiness. And for those of us who have thought and still think that that is possible, well, you're in for a big surprise. That's all I can tell you. So, one of the things that are being asked for you in this process is to pay attention to your relationships, because there's a lot of karma involved right now in these connections. So the opportunity that you have this time around is to forgive and to forgive yourself. So understanding that you have no control over the other people's joy and well-being is going to be very important. And making peace with those situations, and especially with your traumas, is going to be the key. So, can't fix it, can't change it, but I can change myself, and I can be at peace with myself. Accept that at some point, in order for me to have a lesson, a valuable lesson, I needed to co-create an experience that today, it gives me a really bad taste in my mouth. It makes you feel shitty. It makes me feel ashamed, because God forbid that I allow someone else that I love to treat me in that way. Make peace with that, Capricorn. To think that I can be in a loving relationship for the sake of stability, because I want to be stable and I want to be provided for, and that makes me feel good, and it's very important to me, even though if I don't get the love and support that I deserve. You need to make peace with that. So whatever it is that, it represents to you, absence of appreciation and love, self-love, whatever it is that's being represented right now, you need to forgive yourself. There's a lot of Venus energy here. Unbelievable. So we need to remove the poison. And here is being defined as toadstools. These fungus that are poisonous. We need to remove the poison. And the medicine that is given to you is the wolf spirit. I love this medicine. It's beautiful. And what it says, that the person needs to have a lot of different experiences that are really negative, or sometimes very negative, or the person needs to have a series of experiences that eventually it turns the person into a teacher. But the type of teacher that this person is going to become is not the one that tells people what to do, but it's the one that, when he gives an advice, it comes from a place of inner knowing and a place of wisdom. I learned this experience, and what I got from it was this. And I'm applying it in my life in a positive way, not in a negative way. So that's the medicine of the wolf spirit. It's not just about teaching or protecting. It's in the way the person is going to do that. Does that make sense? You're being told that in this particular cycle, do not rush into making harsh or quick decisions. There is something really important that is coming your way. But you have to be patient. There's going to be a revelation that you could either have through a dream or through an experience, a physical experience that is going to be life-changing. Remember, Capricorn, that right now we are being affected by Uranus energy, because we're in the era of Aquarius, right? And Aquarius is ruled by Saturn and Uranus. You're very familiar with Saturn because that's your ruler. But Uranus is totally opposite of Saturn. So think in terms about how you do things, how important it is to you to have a system what you can use to do the things you do. You know, I need to have some habits. I need to have some structure in my life. I have to have a routine. I respect and appreciate those routines. And I am capable of continuing to support a routine even though I know it's no longer working for me. I'm so comfortable with my life right now that I rather continue to support that comfort than to accept and realize that it's no longer working for me. That's totally a Capricorn. And this is how Capricorn sometimes create addictions, different addictions. So with Uranus, we can see these two bodies working under one sign, under one house. And that's what it takes, and that's what it needed in order for us to change and be better people or create better societies. So if I'm having a difficult time breaking away from my routine because I've become so Saturnian oriented, this is where dictatorships come in. This is the house of dictatorships. So sometimes Capricorns can act and behave like a dictator. They want to control everything. And of course, there's very many different aspects of Capricorns that are very positive, okay? But if the Capricorn doesn't know how to counterbalance their shadow side, they become very comfortable in doing things that are not good or wanting to control and manipulate other people. I'm just saying that I have a father that is a Capricorn. And Capricorn is the house of the father. And the idea here is that right now we are in a trajectory, Capricorn, where we need to balance the energies of the feminine and the masculine. Not by pushing against each other or competing, but by understanding that these are two expressions of source energy that needs to work together. So the change that is taking place is happening within ourselves, and then eventually it will bleed out in our physical reality, where we'll be able to create structures or models of conduct that demonstrate that quality of harmony and balance between the archetypes. So this is a process that can take, over 100 years, okay? So it begins within ourselves. And here I feel like right now, it's very interesting that for you, Capricorn, it's about self-love. And it's about recognizing how you connect with the concept of love in your relationships. All right, so let's check, Capricorn, what's going on with your finances in tarot. So now you are definitely more aware about what's going on with your love life, the cosmic influences in your love lives, the type of relationships that you're creating with your love relationships, your romantic relationships, right? So let's begin with the finances and see what's going on with your finances, your job, your money. We have the Five of Wands, Ace of Cups, Queen of Cups, Six of Cups, Three of Wands, Eight of Swords, Ten of Cups, and the Emperor. All right, Capricorn. So I see you having some sort of struggle here in how you feel about what to do and how to feel more comfortable with this concept of stability. I feel like you're definitely working on changing for the better the nature of your stability, and you've kind of been waiting for the right opportunity. So let's say that maybe you either have sort of gone out there to find another job, or maybe you're waiting to hear or to attract an opportunity where you can connect with the right people to do what you want to do. Because this is all about the Emperor energy, feeling more stable. And there is some sort of power struggle here, but the oracle says that you're going to be able to overcome this cycle and eventually attract what you want. You have the Ten of Cups and the Emperor. So one of the works that you need to do right now is to change the emotions of doubts and fear, because you have insecurities here. Yep. So basically you're getting the Sun, Queen of Pentacles, and Two of Pentacles. So the oracle is saying, if you're having doubts because you haven't really achieved what you want, or you haven't heard anything from a job or an investment or whatever it is that you are waiting for, to work on your doubts and your fears. That's the energy that is getting in the way. Also to work in your expectations. Maybe you have an expectation that this should have happened yesterday and now you're frustrated. But whatever it is, you need to work on your fears, because the reason that is taking longer is because of your energies, your vibrations, Eight of Swords. A lot of mental energy here. All of that is going to be released. And if the question is, am I going to get this opportunity that I've been wanting? The oracle says yes. Am I going to get it in the way that I expect it to happen? The oracle says no, but you're going to get it. So it's not what you want, it's what you need. So in the meantime, while you wait, the oracle says, work on your emotions and work on your doubts. Okay, so let's get into the Capricorn, the single Capricorn, and see what's going on with love for the single Capricorn. Love for the single Capricorn. What's going on with love with the single Capricorn? Page of Cups, the Magician, the Six of Wands, the Four of Swords, the Three of Pentacles, Ten of Swords, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Hermit. Okay. For single Capricorns, I really see you, Capricorn, working really hard at letting go of hurt and pain and really going that extra mile to do the right thing to attract somebody. I feel like some of you are like, come on, I've been waiting, I'm ready. But there's nothing going on, and because there's nothing going on, you start kind of feeling doubtful, and you start kind of feeling like I'm not going to get what I want. And it's not like you're not meeting other people, you are. But you bring a certain amount of fears about love and your ideas of relationship that it's very opposite in nature. There is an absence here of connectivity. So Venus with the moon here are going to help you with that, to release this. There are certain contradictions here. You know, like sometimes I notice that people say, you know, I'm okay with my life and I'm really comfortable with what I'm doing, and you know, I'm not interested in finding anybody right now. I'm okay. I'm focusing on my job. I'm focusing on my spirituality. I'm learning new things. I don't need anyone. But these are the people that behind the scenes, they have a profile or several profiles in single websites trying to find someone, and they spend a lot of their time on their own trying to find somebody. And here's where sometimes, a lot of times, we don't realize that we're dividing our energies. So we're saying one thing while we're feeling something else, and that creates a problem, and that creates frustrations, and that's what creates this sense of separation where I'm not getting what I want. So I feel like some of you are more open, you know, like the heart is opening up and more ready. But I feel like sometimes you get discouraged in how you work with other people. And here's the irony. The South Node is going to enter Libra. And sometimes you feel discouraged. And sometimes you spend time alone feeling discouraged, Capricorn. So you need to change and work with these emotions. Yeah, the Oracle is saying you need to, when the Oracle is saying here, when you change and start removing that fear and those doubts, you're on your way. You're on your way. Something good is really going to... There's a shift that is going to take place with your energies that are going to be more in better alignment with what you want. If for any reason you have someone in mind already, so you're thinking about somebody that you met and you really like, but it didn't work and you're waiting, the Oracle is saying that instead of focusing on whether that person is going to come back or not, that you need to work on your energies and continue to release the fear. Because the idea here is to transform those energies of fears and doubt. So with all of this energy of Venus, it's about self-love. And this is not about relying on somebody else to make you happy. This is about you learning how to be happy and vibrating that frequency, attracting the person. So if you meet people where you had like an incredible moment and you felt very connected and then that didn't work out, that's because your frequencies have not changed to a degree where you can sustain a connection, or you attracted someone where the two of you have not reached that type of frequency where you can sustain that connection long term. Does that make sense? Okay. So let's just then check the energies of the Capricorn in partnerships. Definitely pay attention to your partners and relationships, okay? Karmic relationships are very different than the right one, okay? Because karmic relationships just mean that we're attracting people that are going to help us expand our consciousness by becoming aware of the things that we don't want or like, okay? All right, so what's going on with the Capricorn in relationships? Wheel of Fortune, the Sun, the Lovers, Five of Cups, Page of Wands, King of Cups, the High Priestess, and Judgment. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 major arcanas. A lot of energy with you guys. Well, Capricorn, I see here a time where the energies are shifting in a major way. And we already know that because you have the Moon and Venus here. The wheel here, it's changing with the Sun, and this is all talking about joy, feeling better in love. See what I mean? Big shift that is happening here for those of you who are in relationships, and now you know that it's due because you have the Moon and Venus working with your emotions, working with your love frequency, all the definitions you have about your love life. So some of you are definitely going to have to accept that you want better. That stability alone is not going to be enough. And you're going to have to make some decisions here about what to do. I see you working and recognizing inside yourself. You're going to start feeling that nagging voice that is going to begin to say, no, I can't just settle. Oh my goodness. Wow. So you're going to have a 10 of Cups, the World, Justice, and the 5 of Pentacles. So for some of you who's been trying to save at all costs your marriage for the sake of your stability, that's going to change. No longer possible, because you're going to feel like crap. for those of you who are more in a stable marriage, you're going to go through a change here where you're going to be able to work through some of the limiting aspects of your connection in your relationship. And as a couple, you're going to be able to overcome the hurdles. But it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time. But I'm picking up more on the Capricorns that are in a relationship and are going to realize that that relationship is not self-fulfilling anymore. Sorry guys, but I have to say it what I see. I have to say how it is. Even if it's not something that we're ready to hear. Alright, so let's close the reading. Oh, I'm doing so good. I actually wanted to do so. Oops. Whoa. Page of Cups. I wanted to be able to remain, I like to remain less than an hour in my readings, and sometimes I kind of get stressed because I see that, like it's taking longer. But, it is what it is, right? You can always pause the video. All right, so let's just see what's going on. Please let me know how you feel about the readings, and if you want me to get more involved, particularly from a tarot perspective. I feel like, to me, it's about balancing the information between the oracles with the cosmic energies and influences and your energies. You know what I mean? So let's see what kind of advice the oracles are giving you, Capricorn. Oh, I'm so proud of myself that I'm not taking so long. All right. So you have the Devil. You have the Sun next to the Devil. You have the Queen of Cups next. You have the Tower. You have the Five of Swords. You have the Emperor. And you have the King of Swords. It's very interesting how your energy is very much connected to the Emperor. And that tells me how important it is for you, Capricorn, your stability. It's just amazing. It's like, for a Capricorn, just being an average co-worker in a company sometimes is not enough. Even though Capricorns can be really comfortable with their job. I feel like right now, Capricorn, for you, it's more about how can I become the CEO of that company? Or how can I get to the next level? So I feel like it's more about how can I get to the next level? And do it in a way that I feel from the beginning that it's the right thing. So you want to have it all as you're making a change. And that's kind of dangerous, and it's kind of hard because in a way what you want to do is to be able to control your change by knowing everything that you're going to get beforehand. It doesn't work like that. And that's where you're going to have your Tower moments. So I feel like the Oracle here is saying, it's time to let go of fears and work more with our passions, the Sun. Interesting, because Sagittarius it was Libra. Libra got the Sun, got Leo, and the 5th house. It's all about the Sun. Clarity. Libra is having an expansion with the Sun, with the passions. With Sagittarius, what did Sagittarius get? Sometimes it's so much information, but Sagittarius came through the heart, but I don't remember. Anyways, everybody's getting what they need in their own way, but the goal and the objective here for the whole collective is to reach this level of harmony that we need to between the archetypes. So it's to surrender to the mother, accept the mother from every perspective. And through that acceptance is to reestablish the life force of the mother and create better harmony with the energy of the father. So this is about equal opportunities and knowing that both are needed and they're both are just as important without one being better than the other or needing to compete with each other. You understand that? That's what we need to do. That's the objective. So the advice here is, just trusting more on your passions, on your emotions, coming to terms with adapting to the changes to be able to achieve what you want. And it's just paying attention in what you're doing and how the universe is communicating to you what you need to hear and what you need to know and what you need to apply. And that's how you're going to do it, Capricorn. You're being represented by a King of Swords. So adapting to sudden changes, the need to adapt to sudden changes without judgments. That's one of the big advices here. All right, Capricorn, I hope you like the reading. I wish you all the luck, the best of luck to you in this cycle. Until next time.